Now from here I'm going to engage my hip flexors. I don't want to jump up, I want to engage my hip flexors. So I'm going to go up on my toes and down, suck them into my core. Now don't let yourself sink in. From here in this dolphin position flat, do a few ups and downs, lifts, wrapping your arms in. Don't let your elbows go out, pulling your core and your new hip flexors in. We want the up. Feel that. That's what you want, because that up gives you the lift in your chest. Now when you're ready, I want you to come up one leg at a time. One. Now engage your hip flexors, pull them into the hip sockets. Lifting, 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 lifting. See how nice and slow and controlled that is? I don't want speed, I want control. Lifting, lifting, lifting. And then coming into center, and then coming down with the other leg. Lifting, 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 lifting. Pushing up through your chest, through your elbows. Don't sink down to the mat. From here, you may want to find a tap down, and then you want to change it over. Lifting, 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 and keep going. So you want to do about 5 reps on each foot, okay? Nice and slow and controlled. So you're going to come up one leg on your own control. From here, I'm going to push up through my arms. I don't want to come down into the mat, see that? I want to push up. Wrap my arms in, and from here I'm going to bend my knees. Now from here, as I bend my knees, I'm going to lift my chest up by pushing away from the mat and bringing my legs until I find somewhere as depth. It could be your head, or it might not be. It depends on your practice. Now once I've got my head, I'm going to bring my knees back into center, okay? Straightening up my body, pushing away from the mat and bringing it all the way back up. And we're going to do about 5 repetitions. So bringing my knees down before I curve, puff up my chest, pushing away from the mat, wrapping my elbows in, bringing down into pincher, scorpion, holding here, pushing up to come up, bringing my mulambundha in to bring my hips up, wrapping my elbows in, pushing myself forward to come up into straight pincher. Okay? Now that is a very intense, and you tick-tock. So lifting up, one leg, pushing up, nice and high, wrapping your arms in, pulling your hip flexors in, making sure you can breathe, bringing up into your pincher, hips. Now my tick-tocks, I'm going to go from a split position all the way down, lifting up through my chest. This is starting to get a hollow back, starting to pop my head through, but not fully, and then bending my leg at the bottom to touch. From here, I want to tick up into a straight pincher, okay, ticking over into another split form to come down this side, pulling in my core, hip flexors to come into this slow tap. From here, I'm going to come up into the split, nice and rolled over, push up away from the mat, wrap your arms in, core engage, glutes engage, hip flexors engage, push forward, don't bring your head all the way through, touch down, slowly bend your leg, and then swapping over into the straight position, into the straight, before you swap your feet, into the split, and then coming nice and controlled, pulling your mulambundha in, pulling your hip flexors into your hip socket, pushing away from the mat and coming down. So the reason I did that type of tick-tock, that creates control. The other one where you're just jumping to and from, there's no control, and therefore you might be able to do it, but you've got gravity assisting you and you've got no awareness in your body. We want awareness in our body so we don't cause injuries, okay? Now, at the very last point when I was getting my foot over my head down into the ground, I had the ability to nearly do a hollowback. And that's where we're going to start for our hollowbacks, okay? So the last pose is the hollowback that we're building to learn to grow into, to keep growing from. So coming up exactly the same way, set up your elbows, set up your hands, wherever you need. Some people find that this position creates more room for a hollowback. Just be aware. The width of your elbows, for me I have it at my shoulder width, I have a wider shoulder. Some people find that that has too much flexibility involved, they need a narrower width. So find what is with you where you can still wrap your arms in and bring your core engagement in, okay? So let's have a look at that hollow back, shall we? So exactly the same movement. I'm going to take it over single leg. So I'm fingertips into my core, pulling my Mulabanda to my hips, lifting up away from the mat to puff my chest up and bring my head forward. So I've brought my head forward and now I'm ready to go into my Hollowback. I'm going to use my hip, pull it in this bent leg here that I'm shaking, and I'm going to pull in this one too, and then I'm going to lift up and puff up my chest. Then I'm going to tilt my hips, and then I'm going to pull in, and then I'm going to tilt my hips, and there's your Hollowback. Now if you need to, you can touch down and do taps, okay? And that's your TikTok engagement. And coming back over, you're pulling it all in, okay? And to get into this position is the same, pulling it all in to lift up and tuck your head forward, okay? Pulling it all in to come over. So, it is an honour for me to help you, and it's an honour to grow together so we can all do the dreams that we want to do. And make sure you listen to your body always, warm up always, and do you always. Don't look at someone and say, oh, I can't do that, I'm not very good. Someone else is looking at you and saying the same thing, wishing they were you. So look at you and go, oh wow, look where I've grown, I'm so grateful. A year ago I couldn't do any of this. So have a good practice. Thanks for joining me. Look forward to hearing from you. Ciao.